All right, it's going well, and I have a few things to talk about. So one is I've decided to double up all the rafters, two 2x4s. That'll give us the extra strength. The only one I didn't double up is the end one because that's going to have probably a 1x6 on that. So in a way it will be doubled up. What I'm doing is, so it turns out they're a little over 12 feet, most of them. So I'm going 12 foot 2 inches, and the one side is solid and then the other side is pieces, so I can get the distance. And then some of them, there's some twist to them, so there's a few things we have to keep track of when we're putting them up. One is I need to have them on center of the post. So I need to go up there and mark out where this one goes. These I've marked out by going to the end and over here and then over there. So these two are good. And then what I did was, the other thing to watch out for is, so is the distance from here to there, is it staying equal? So it does vary a little bit, but I want to try to keep it close to, so the first one was 39.5, so I'm trying to keep it close to that. These are a touch shorter, but I knew that this came in here a little bit, so I'm not surprised, but we'll try to get it close and stick with 39.5, because when we get out into here, that's totally flexible, so we need to stick with it there too, so make sure that this runs straight. And then from there, then we can plumb up the posts. And then we'll be putting other brackets in too. But now I did not fasten some of these in. For example, that one there, I didn't put the screws in yet. And that's because I think the deck's got to come up another notch. But I'm pretty sure it does actually. Well, a little bit there. Maybe not a full 1.25 inches, but maybe 3/4 of an inch. So the other thing I'm doing is trying to stay down 1 inch when I'm nailing these in. And that's because we have our inch board going on here, and then our roofing is on top of that. So we need that space. Other than that, I think it's going well. Oh, the other thing we need to watch out for before we start putting the roof boards on is I want to run the board across the tails, because that'll give me a chance to kind of make sure they're going straight. And then we may want to run our roof boards in the center to pull, like you see this one here is bowed. So that way we can take the bow out of it, so when we put the roof boards on, once the roof boards are on, it's not good. It's good. We just got to make sure we get it out before we nail the roof boards in. And then stuff like this one's got a slight twist to it. That's going to probably come out when I put the board, probably a 2x4 along the bottom, followed by a 1x6, or maybe it's going to be a 1x4. I got to think about that. I don't want to take up too much view. So probably will be a 2x4 and then a 1x4. The 2x4 is only 3.5 inches though, but the 1x4 will be close to 4. And then we'll do our little scallops on the end of that. So I'll probably do that on this end too then. Do a 1x4 here too. Just to stay consistent around. Okay, it's going really well. Did get a little bit wet, had to stop for a few minutes. But we kind of stopped and then sprinkled more, but it stopped now. So I'm going to keep going. Well, I think it's going to look great. Okay, get back to work. Oh, forgot one thing. So the other thing I'm doing is I'm constructing this a little different than before. If you've watched other videos of what I've done for overhangs. So this one, it's sitting on the beam, whereas before I build the beam right into the roof. So because of that, we have this wedge here. And often they'll cut a notch here so that this sits right down flat. But I really didn't want to do that because it takes away some of the strength here. And that's, plus you got to cut all those notches and everything. So I decided I'm going to make a wedge that fits right in there, nails down here, and then I can nail through that right into these. So it turns out we had figured out before that it's going to be about a 2.4 pitch. And a 2.4 pitch, if you calculate it out, a 12 pitch being a 45 degrees, and a 6 pitch being half of that, then a 2.4 works out to be about 9 degrees. Maybe it was a touch over 9. So I set my table saw to 9 degrees and I cut some wedges. I only cut one at first because I wanted to make sure I was right. But it turns out, this is one I cut this morning. So hopefully this one matches the others. And it's a little bit big maybe, if anything. Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not too much, because if I tap it, it might go in there just a little bit more. So that'll take up that space there. Yeah, maybe I just got to take a little bit off the edge here. Yeah, and then I can do that just by rasping off wherever these hit. So it goes in a little tighter, and then it'll tighten this up too. So that's my plan. I want to stain these too once I get them all ready to fit in. Then I'll do that. Okay, let's get back to work.